beautiful. How you doing tonight? Welcome back. So, what was it like dating a booty bandit in prison? Some of you guys might already know who this person is because I've talked about him in several videos. Boss. Usually, I refer to him as like my penitentiary sugar daddy, my prison sugar daddy, and it was because he, gave me everything. Like he literally every commissary day he would give me a bag or two, like a laundry bag, one of those like webbed laundry bags, you know what I'm talking about? A laundry bag full of commissary, one or two bags at a time, even to the point where like it was so shocking to so many people that even after I got with Cam's hustling ass, he actually would encourage. Cam used to be my boyfriend for a long time. I was like in love with him. For anybody that doesn't know, uh, but when I had first got with Cam, he would encourage me to still be friends with Boss because he knew that Boss used to do that for me. He saw it, like how everybody did. It was the talk of the compound. The COs used to talk about this, everybody. He would give me bags of commissary. It used to just be whatever, like, because I was too, I guess, respectful to not like tell him to not like demand what it is that I want, like, oh, I want to have this, I want to have this, I want to have this. But over time, as he was consistently doing this, I would tell him, I'm like, and I was modest, like I would be like, you don't have to do this and that, blah blah blah. And he just would kind of not force it on me, but just be like, take it, like, I want to do this, like if you're letting me get to know you and try to get close with you and everything like that, this is what I want to do, like this is what makes me happy and all this stuff. So I'd be like, okay. Because I thought that it was going to be a transactional type of relationship. Ideally, really honestly, what I mainly wanted from the man was protection, because he was very intimidating to a lot of the inmates on the compound. He definitely had like power and influence over almost all the inmates. Gang members, he used to be in the Bloods gang, a part of the Bloods gang, and he was like high ranking with that gang, and he got into a lot of fights. Like it didn't take much for him to beat somebody up. Sometimes just because he felt like they were trying to flex on him or assert themselves in some kind of way, disrespect him or something. It did not take much for him to fight somebody because he felt like that would always like keep people in line, and it did. So, inmates were scared of him, and then the administration just loved him because he was a cook in the kitchen. Cooks in prison usually are the ones that make like specialty meals for the COs, for the administration that's working there. Everybody, chief of security, unit managers, sometimes even the warden, COs, lieutenants, sergeants, whoever, like counselors and nurses. And he took that opportunity to charm and smooth with everybody and anybody, like, and they just loved him. Like, they just loved him. He had been locked up for 16 years. So that, I didn't know all of this, but I knew that he was someone important, and I was exhausted from being ambushed all the time by people, just constantly with the stupid questions and just relentlessly pursuing me as if I was some sort of prostitute. But it's what is expected in prison, for people to be uh hoes, like to just be a flat out hoe and just doing everything with anybody. But nevertheless, what I didn't know is that the man was a booty bandit, and he was a booty bandit in both sense of the in both like definitions of the word. A lot of people hear booty bandit and they think somebody who snatches somebody's behind, takes somebody's behind. I didn't know that he was that until after I had, gotten to know him a little bit more. I did kind of know that he was the type of booty bandit that more so queens usually think of booty bandits like this. a guy who just like is chasing everybody, trying to get with any old queen, trying to get with anybody that is cute or maybe has a big butt or something like that, you know, a little soft spoken or something, maybe even a little bit on the quiet side, like just like a regular guy that could just be on the quiet side. And you know, booty bandits, they see that as an opportunity, like, oh, maybe they're submissive, maybe there's some submissive type of nature there, like, you know, that I can exploit or pursue. So they chase any chance, any possible opportunity that they think that they can get. That's a booty bandit. But as I got to know him, and you know, I would just ask him questions like, why do you like fighting people, why are you so intimidating, you know, why aren't you nicer, and things like that. And he would just explain his past, like, oh, I used to be in a gang, I used to, you know, I just rough around the edges, I just kind of get aroused by like confrontation and stuff like that. And I thought that was weird. But then I'm not even sure how it actually came about, me understanding that he had actually did it, because I think I had heard some rumors, I think is what it was, if I remember correctly. Some of the queens, like a few of the queens were questioning me, like, you know, oh yes, I hear you're with boss and everything, like, you know, how's that working out for you and everything. I'm just like, oh, he's nice, you know, he gives me everything. Every time I went to chow, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there would be 2 trays waiting for me. I would go in line, get my tray, sit down, or sometimes before I even sat down, a kitchen worker, if it wasn't him himself, but 9 times out of 10, it wasn't even him. It was literally a kitchen worker or the CO who is sitting there watching the chow hall, hand me another tray. This is the type of power this man had, which was really scary, to be honest. Like, because I felt like, okay, this is all well and good right now, but God forbid if I get on the wrong side of the fence with this dude, Lord knows what would happen to me. I could disappear and there would be no, like, trace or way to prove nothing, no nothing, you know, for all I know. Like, my mama would just be calling up trying to figure out what happened to me, and they just be like, oh, well, we don't know, like, you know, did he escape? Like, he had that kind of power. It was like unreal, scary type of power. There's a lot of stories I could tell about him that I have never talked about, just when I was with him. Things that, you know, shakedowns where like the entire compound is locked down. We're out in the pod because he was so cool with the sergeant, and really I think he was messing around with this sergeant, because this sergeant was sort of funny, I guess, if you could say. But we're out in the pod passing out things, you know, like slipping things under people's doors and stuff. He's getting deals with people while we're supposed to be passing out this stuff. People are slipping him like tobacco and stuff like that from their cells. And then we ended up going into the counselor's office and, you know, messed around while in. This is during a shakedown. Nobody is supposed to be outside of their cells. The compound is locked down. But he had this type of power. Like, it was really wild. Now, after I found out, because as I was talking to some of the queens, and I guess they would just be propositioned, and it really comes out of like nosiness and, you know, enviousness, that they're asking me these questions and all this stupid stuff. And I could tell that much, but I didn't know that I was definitely the fool, because they knew more about him than I did, you know, my stupid ass. But then they would start telling me, like, you know, how do you feel about this? I had heard, you know, such and such, like, is this true? Do you know if he had really did whatever? And that's when I would be asking, and he did tell me, he's like, yeah, there was a time that I did that. And from what he told me, I can't remember if it was 4 or 3, but I definitely remember 3 times that he had told me that he had did it. You know, in the past, he said when he was up in the higher levels, there were like a couple times where one was like a cellie he was in the cell with, and the guy was just really disrespectful, and that's what he did. He didn't snatch the dudes behind as a means to let him know, like, don't disrespect me. Whew, scary as all get out. And then the other time that I distinctly remember is him telling me, or I think these were both the other 2 times, so it probably was just 3 times. But, I mean, not just 3 times, but I mean, whew. The other 2 times that I remember, I think they were both the same. That he was saying the guy had owed him money. Like, it was like people that had owed him money, and they tried to, like, get over on him by owing him money. And that's what he did. And actually, there is a 4th time, because then I remember him saying, then there was one time where it was just because he was attracted to the guy. Like, it was a white guy, and he liked white guys, and he liked light-skinned guys or Spanish guys, And for me, he thought of me as like his chica. He used to call me chica all the time. But it's like, I did not know this about this man, And after I had found this out, it made me sick to my stomach, and it made me really scared. And then I clearly was trying to strategize, what should I do? Because as I've explained to y'all, now you understand why at the beginning of this video I tried to explain to you guys his position, because now that you know that information, what would you have did? It's like, you have to be careful, because for one, I went into this always trying to be detached and honest, which is why I think I was able to get away safely, because I was so honest with him, always, from the start to the finish. But, I did not want to be falling in love. I did not want us to be labeled as boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, because there is no such thing as like boyfriend in prison. But like boyfriend and girlfriend, or, husband and wife, or anything like that. I was not his wifey. He kept trying to wife me up and all of this stuff, but I was not trying to do that. I would tell him countless times. I'd be like, you and I are just friends. We're just friends. You're just my friend and all of this stuff. I'm just your friend, But, I did start trying to think how I can get away. And I would try to tell him, I'd be like, I just feel like this is not a good idea, because I can tell that you're really developing real feelings for me, and I don't want to hurt you. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything like that, because I do not feel the same way. And he just thought that this was a temporary, phase, I guess, in our relationship, that in time I would grow more to like him and, trust him more, see that he is on my side, and that he's just my protector. That's what he used to say to me all the time. Like, he used to just be like, I'm just your big teddy bear, or I'm your lion that's, protecting you, or something like that. The thing that used to scare me the most that he used to say is, he'd be like, see, but, I know that I'm a monster, but there's no need for you to be scared of the monster when the monster is your friend. Oh my God, I hated when he would say that. I hated when he would say that. I would be so scared. I'm like, and I would tell him that too. I'd be like, why are you saying, you don't think something like that is not scary? He was a Leo, for anybody that cares. I'm a Sagittarius. He was a Leo. So that we did have some kind of chemistry and good communication in a way. But whew, this was the scariest dude that I ever have been with in life, period. And even while in prison, I definitely was matched up and, hooked up with a few different criminal, mofos. But he took the cake. And it's because of the status he had while inside. There was some people that I had met that they had did some scary things on the outside, but it's like, but now here in prison, they're like stripped away. You're in prison. Like, they're just a shell of who they were, but it's just scary to know that they did whatever it is that they did, or that they're capable of, because I'm not capable of a lot of things that I've met people do. You know what I'm saying? What was especially scary about Boss was not only his history, but then the amount of power and resource and influence this man had while in prison, in a very structured and restricted environment. You know what I'm saying? There's only but so many just options of what you have available to you, what you can do. There's limits to just your access with things, and just in general, y'all know it's prison. It seemed like he had no, he could have walked out of the compound if he wanted, is what it seemed like. It seemed like he was that hooked up that literally while somebody is getting off work, he could have just been like, can I hitch a ride with you? And just walked right on out with a CO. Like, it seemed like he was that cool with everybody. It was scary. But I got away, y'all. Lucky got away. I got in the safety of the program, and then that's when I met Cam and all of that stuff. But I will tell you this much. He kept an eye on me until the day I got out. He watched over me until I got out. It's the weirdest relationship because he literally saw me as like his little, I don't know, like a monster with a child in like a child's movie. Like, picture like one of those children's movie where it's like the monster befriends this little kid, and the kid is just so clueless to the fact that it's a monster, you know? But the monster loves this access to innocence, you know, and they just nurture it and try to protect it and kind of like hang on, like latch onto it. That's how he saw our relationship. I was just scared. But that's my video, you guys, about dating a booty bandit. You know, he definitely was a booty bandit. I do have another video where I talk explicitly about the most twisted, like, encounter I had with him. But it's on Patreon. So if you want to see more of me, you know, go ahead and join Patreon. Elite members of Patreon get full access to everything. So if you're an elite member on Patreon, every time that I post a video on my membership, like on the YouTube memberships, I post a link to those videos. So elite members of Patreon, they have full access to everything, you know, so this way you don't have to be getting like all these little things. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if there's some other topics you want to hear, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys.